Today, I'm going to be comparing the TriggerTech competitive fixed 3.5 pound two-stage trigger and a Geissele Super Dynamic Enhanced two-stage trigger. Two-stage versus single-stage triggers, that's, as far as I can tell, purely preference. I like two-stage triggers myself. I like to see if I can find deals on things like this and try them out. But before I do that, or before I find the things that I want to buy, I try to find videos on them and gather as much information as I can. And what really helps me with these is where I get to see a close-up of the trigger and see the take-up, the break, the pull weight, all that stuff. It just really helps me out. So that's what I wanted to do with these two triggers, because I haven't really seen a lot of videos specifically on this guy. I usually see the TriggerTech Diamond, which is the adjustable one. This one's fixed. Of course, Geissele's great, really well known. Their two-stage triggers are awesome. But I just kind of wanted to do a quick comparison on this. Maybe some of this information will help someone out if they're looking for a new two-stage trigger. So I hope you find this useful. Here's the packaging the TriggerTech comes in. It's got a little screw here to prevent the hammer from releasing. Give you a little Velcro patch of some sort, a couple of hex keys, instructions, warranty, all that jazz. I like that the packaging has some cool graphs of pull weight versus displacement and some explanations of the technology in here. This is the TriggerTech AR-15 competitive trigger, and it's some sort of independence version that Midway negotiated a lower price for, so I paid $150 for this. And normally I think the same trigger on Midway is about $230, so this is a pretty sweet deal. They're still in stock. The other ones are all black. This one has the blue anodized housing and silver components, and it's a, like you can see here, fixed 3.5 pound two-stage trigger. Taking a quick look at this thing, it's pretty standard fare for a self-contained drop-in trigger. I do like that it has these set screws here to snug up the trigger housing within the lower to take play out of your trigger pins. Other than that, it's pretty standard for a drop-in trigger. You drop it in, you put your pins in, and you're off to the races. But man, does this thing look sweet. I mean, just the fit, finish, anodizing, the colors, it all looks awesome. Give you a better look at this now that I took that sticker off, which came off easily, I will add. If I had to peel every little bit of this sticker off, I'd be pissed, but I didn't. Came right off. Anyways, the other side of the trigger housing looks dope too. So anyways, it's a good looking unit right here. It's pretty sweet. I mean, you won't see most of it, so who really cares, but there you go. So just kind of a general side-by-side comparison of the two. First, most obvious thing is that this is individual components, and this is a unit, fixed modular unit that just drops in. Is this easy to install? Yes. Is this easier? Absolutely. One advantage about these is that you can put different hammer, trigger, and disconnector springs in, and maybe tailor it to your liking a little bit more. I really like it the way it is. I've ran this trigger for a while now. This is the new guy. Really, I mean, we can't get in here and look at the contact faces and stuff, but essentially with this guy you actually have a roller between the sear engagement, so it's not actually any sliding pieces of metal on here. You can see, where's a good example? Right here. The interfaces with the hammer and the sear and the disconnector and stuff are wire EDM'd, which leaves a pretty good finish. It's not super polished or anything, but it's pretty good. It makes for nice, smooth, and repeatable action. I don't have any complaints with this guy right here. As I said earlier, this was on sale for $150, so a special deal through Midway. They're still in stock. I would recommend it. Well, pending how I like the trigger pulls and stuff. Once I put it in the lower, I might recommend it. But normally it's like $230, and this one has a really sweet anodizing and silver stuff. So hammer, yeah, like all that stuff is just like whatever. I don't really care. It's gonna hit the thing and make it go boom. The biggest difference between these two is if you look at the trigger blades, Geissele is just ever so slightly wider, and it's also got a bit nicer of a radius on the edges than this guy. So I'm guessing the shoe on this trigger would feel a little bit more comfortable. But other than that, they're flat triggers. I like flat triggers, and I like two-stage triggers. That's why I got these two. That's why I'm comparing them. That's why I'm going to see them, shoot them, see which one I like, and leave the one that I like the best in my gun. I've been running this Geissele for, you know, months now. Probably got 500,000 rounds through it or something. Not a crazy high round count, but I really like it. It works good for bench shooting. It works good for high-speed shooting. But I've heard a lot of cool things about these. And wanted to try it out. Here's the Geissele installed in the lower. Running this trigger for a while. I do really like it. A little bit of play with it on safe. Here's the take up. Smooth, not gritty, not stagey. Nice hard wall. Minimal creep, maybe 0.5 millimeter, but almost imperceptible. Reset, pretty short, loud, tactile, but it kind of pushes my finger forward, and then I have a little bit to get back to where the wall is. Okay, so I got my trusty trigger pull gauge here. I'm gonna put it down low because that's where I put my finger, and that's part of the reason you get a flat trigger. And I'm just gonna see what the weight of that first stage is right there. That was right at 2 pounds. Do that again. I think I pulled a little bit higher, but a little under 2.5 pounds. Now let's see what the full pull weight is. So just a smidge under 3 pounds. That one was 3¼ pounds. I think I didn't do very good on that second one. Right around 3 pounds. Got the TriggetTech installed. I think it looks cooler. Anyways, tiny little play on safe. Now, here's the take up. A lot shorter. A lot shorter. We probably got 1.5 to 2 millimeters of movement down at the bottom of the trigger. It's probably 3 times less than the Geissele. Nice defined wall. And no creep, and then just a break. Now, the reset. It's tactile, it's audible. It's not as tactile or audible as the Geissele. And it doesn't feel quite as positive. I mean, it doesn't really kind of shove your finger out as the Geissele does, and so actually it's quicker to get back up to that wall. But I mean, gosh, barely any take up. It almost, you know, it's almost like a single stage. And reset is so quick. I bet this thing is going to be fast. Okay. So I don't really know that this is going to be... Yeah, I mean, we got... It's not even really registering on the gauge. Less than a pound to get through that first stage. Yeah, probably 8 to 10 ounces to get through that first stage. But let's see here what the actual break is. It's about 2 3/4 pound. Two and 3/4 pound. Maybe 2 pounds 14 ounces, something like that. Pretty consistent, under 3 pounds. I think generally if you put your finger on the middle of the trigger, yeah, that's going to get it closer to the 3.5 pound claimed weight. But it's a good thing about flat triggers, you can get your finger nice and low. So one thing I do want to mention is I have not very big hands but very long fingers. Anyways, this trigger blade is set back a little bit, so the reach is pretty far that way. So my finger would kind of be resting there. Compared to the Geissele, I think, yeah, the Geissele is just a little bit further forward, so this one's probably a little bit better for people with large hands or long fingers. Yeah, I think putting it right on the trigger pin there, trying to get it as flat as possible. I think it would be a little bit more forward. I just noticed it feels a bit closer to my hand. Anyways, that's all I got on these two triggers. Videos like this have helped me make decisions of things that I want to buy in the past, so I hope if you watch this that it may have given you a little bit of an idea of something you may want to try out. I am excited to get this to the range and see how it does, but the performance at the range is going to be largely subjective, so I'm not including that in this. I'm trying to just give you an idea of, here's the take up, the wall, the break, the reset, stuff like that. How does it compare to the Geissele? So hopefully I did that for you. Any other questions, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them.